Before you begin your installation, there are a few things that you'll want to check. Clear your base area of anything that might get in the way during assembly. For this installation, we're installing onto a raised wooden framework to help protect the building from damp and insects. We would always recommend installing on a dry day with a minimum of 2 people. For this installation, you will need a screwdriver, a drill, a hammer, a tape measure, a ladder, and a Stanley knife or cutting tool. Start off by removing the transportation blocks from each of the panels. They're nailed in, so give them a hard knock to remove them. Place the floor panel down onto your prepared base and make sure that the bearers are flush with the supports. You should fit the door first so that you can make sure the hinges are level. Place the front gable down flat and place the door panels within the aperture. Line them up flush with the frame and place the hinges at the top, middle and bottom so they line up with the framing nails. Pre-drill through each of the screw holes to prevent the timber from splitting, and then secure each hinge in place using the 30mm screws provided. Make sure to pre-drill all screw holes throughout this installation. Start the main body of the installation with the rear gable and one of the sides to form an L-shaped join. Align the panels at the corner so that the framing pieces are firmly against each other and the bottom framing sits flat on the edge of the floor. Secure the panels at the top, middle and bottom of the framing with screws. You can now bring in the other side panel and repeat this for the corner framing. Secure the front in the same method, screwing at the top, middle and bottom of each side with 50mm screws. With all the walls up, it's time to work on the roof. Starting with the ridge bar, line up an L bracket at each end and secure with screws before affixing between the 2 gables. With the ridge bar installed, the next step is to prepare the roof boards. With the roof panels on the ground, slide an eaves frame under one edge and secure with screws. Repeat this for the 2 frames on each panel. Slide the roof panel up onto the gables until you reach the apex and secure into the framing beneath. This will create an overhang for your felt. Repeat this for the other panel. Now that the roof is on, you want to secure the framing of your building down to the floor to prevent any movement. Screw the framing down at equal intervals around the building using 50mm screws. With the felt, either measure the length of your roof with a tape measure, or as we've done here, you can roll it out along the length of your building and cut to size. Use a Stanley knife or cutting tool to cut the felt for a nice clean finish. For this building, you will need 2 strips of equal length as well as the capping felt. Roll the felt out along the roof and position it so that you have at least 2-inch overhang on all sides. Tack the felt at the top 2 corners to prevent any movement and secure them all around, making sure that the felt is pulled firmly to prevent wrinkles. Repeat this for the other side of the roof and then roll out your capping felt. This should overlap your 2 pieces and can then be tacked along the length of the roof on either side. With the roof finished, it's time for the trims. Align the corner trims over the side panel framing and then secure in place at the top, middle and bottom with 30mm screws. Repeat this for all 4 corners before moving on to the fascia boards. Fold the felt down so that it is sandwiched firmly between the fascia and the edge of the roof. Secure these at each end and the middle and repeat for all 4 fascias. Don't worry if some felt hangs under your fascias, this can simply be cut away using a knife. For the finial, make sure to pre-drill the screw holes to prevent splitting and position over the fascia joint. With the windows, you're going to need to insert the plastic glazing strip onto the lip of the window. Place a piece of styrene in the window frame and cover the edge with the framing piece. Secure this through into the framing behind to sandwich the glazing in. Repeat this for the other window edge before securing both with the centre framing piece. The door blocks need to be placed on the top, middle and bottom of one door. This will become the slave door. A turn button can be installed on the top and bottom blocks of the slave door. The internal door beading needs to be installed just on the inside of the door frame. Secure this at the top, middle and bottom of each side of the door. The door strips need to be placed over the door gap, with the shorter strip at the top of the doors. Make sure they are flush at the top and bottom to leave a gap between them. Secure into the master door along each strip, lining the screws with the internal framing. The last turn button is installed on the slave door between the 2 strips to prevent the door from swinging open. Score around the edge of the window framing with a sharp knife on both the inside and outside of the window glazing. You should then be able to peel the protective plastic off the window. Now that your shed is installed, you'll want to treat it with a good quality timber preservative to keep it protected throughout the year. For more installations, please check out the other videos on our channel,